Void log. Entry 002. Subject: The Great Silence. For centuries, we've sent our signals into the abyss, hoping for a reply, a sign, any sign. But the universe remains quiet. And what if this silence is not an absence? What if it's a message, a warning, broadcast across 13 billion years? Today, we ask, are we truly alone? Or is something far more terrifying hiding in the dark? This is Void Logs. Prepare for transmission. The truth is listening. Ocean of infinite black ink. That is Earth. We have spent centuries screaming into the dark, sending out gold-plated records, radio symphonies, and digital prayers, hoping for a sign, any sign, that we are not a cosmic fluke. We want to believe that the universe is a crowded city, full of neighbors we haven't met yet. But the more we listen, the more the silence feels heavy. It's not the silence of an empty room, it's the silence of a room where someone is holding their breath. Welcome to Void Logs. I am the witness, and today we examine the most haunting question ever conceived by the human mind. Are we truly alone? For decades, we have operated under the assumption that life is a natural consequence of physics. Give a planet water, heat, and time, and eventually it will start to think. We have calculated the odds, we've scanned the frequencies, and yet the great celestial stage remains empty. The lights are on, the props are set, but the actors are missing. This is the great silence, and it is the loudest thing in the known universe. In this log, we will move beyond simple numbers. We will explore the terrifying theories that explain why the sky is dark. Is it because we are the first to arrive at the party? Or is it because the party ended billions of years ago, and we are just walking through the ruins? Perhaps the answer isn't that life is rare, but that survival is impossible. Or maybe, just maybe, they are listening right now, watching us from the shadows, waiting for us to realize that some doors are better left closed. The music becomes more complex, adding crystalline, shimmering sounds like spinning ice or glass. Visuals should show the violent birth of planets and the chaotic beauty of a nebula. Let us look at the numbers. Astronomers estimate there are about septillion stars in the observable universe. That is a 1 followed by 24 zeros. Even if life only has a 1 in a billion chance of emerging, there should still be trillions of civilizations. The universe should be a highway of light and communication. This is the foundation of our hope. But this hope ignores the terrifying precision required for you to exist. To have a world like yours, you don't just need a planet, you need a masterpiece of coincidences. You need a star that is stable for billions of years, not too hot to burn you, not too cold to freeze you. You need a giant neighbor like Jupiter to act as a gravity shield, catching the stray asteroids that would otherwise turn your crust into a graveyard. You need a moon just large enough to stabilize your tilt, giving you seasons instead of climatic chaos. You need a molten core to generate a magnetic field, a shield against the sun's silent, invisible radiation that wants to strip your atmosphere into the void. Perhaps the rare Earth hypothesis is the true answer. What if the path from a single cell to a creature that can build a telescope is so narrow, so fraught with peril, that we are the only ones who made it through the needle's eye? Think about the billions of years of catastrophes Earth survived, the ice ages that turned the globe into a snowball, the volcanic eruptions that choked the sky for millennia, the asteroids that wiped out 90% of all species.
We are the survivors of a 4 billion-year-old game of Russian roulette. If this is true, then Earth is not just a planet, it is a miracle, a fragile, solitary spark in a dark cathedral. It means that every time you look into the eyes of another human being, you are looking at the rarest thing in existence. But there is a darker side to this rarity. If we are the only ones, then the silence isn't a mystery, it's a eulogy. It means the universe is a vast, beautiful, but ultimately dead museum, and we are the only visitors. But the void logs suggest another possibility, one where the universe isn't dead, it's just very, very quiet, and for a very good reason.
Sound design. The shimmering music dies out. It is replaced by a heavy mechanical hum that feels like it's vibrating in the listener's chest. Occasional distorted metallic screeching in the far distance, like a ship tearing apart. If the rare Earth theory is about the luck of our past, then the great filter is about the nightmare of our future. Scientists look at the starless gaps in the sky and wonder, if life is common, why aren't there civilizations? The answer might be a wall, an evolutionary bottleneck so difficult to pass that it destroys nearly everyone who reaches it. This is the great filter. It is the cosmic scythe that harvests intelligence before it can leave its cradle. The question that keeps astronomers awake at night is a simple, terrifying one. Have we already passed a filter, or is it waiting for us just around the corner? Imagine a vast, dark staircase leading to the stars. Every step represents a monumental leap in evolution. The first step is the transition from chemistry to biology, the moment dust learned to replicate itself. The second is the jump from simple cells to complex organisms. The third is the development of tools, language, and culture. We have climbed many steps and we feel proud. We look back at the dinosaurs and the primordial soup and think, we made it. But as we look up, we see that the staircase disappears into a thick, suffocating fog. We don't know how many steps are left, and we don't know if the next step is a trap. If the great filter is behind us, perhaps the jump from life to intelligence is so impossibly rare that it only happens once in a trillion galaxies, then we are the winners of a cosmic lottery. We are the firstborn, the inheritors of the void. But if the filter is ahead of us, then we are in grave danger. It would mean that almost every civilization reaches our current level of technology, the ability to split the atom, to engineer viruses, to create artificial intelligence, and then they vanish. They build their own executioners. They create a god in a machine that decides they are obsolete, or they simply burn their world to a cinder in a moment of short-sighted greed. Consider the silence of the cosmos through this lens. The reason we hear no signals is that there is no one left to send them. The galaxy is a graveyard of cultures that dreamed of the galaxy, just as you do. They sat on their planets, looked at their moons, and wrote poems about the infinite. And then they hit the wall. They hit the great filter. Their radio towers collapsed into the dust of dead cities. Their satellites became drifting junk in an orbit around a world with no one left to watch them. Every time you hear about a new breakthrough in technology, a new power discovered, you should ask yourself, is this a step up the stairs or is this the wall? If we find a single fossil on Mars, just a simple dead cell, it would be the worst news in human history. It would suggest that life is common, but survival is rare. It would mean the filter is almost certainly ahead of us, waiting to extinguish our spark before we can even say, hello. The void logs contain no records of civilizations that outran time. In the eyes of the witness, we are just another candidate for the harvest. We are standing at the threshold, reaching for a handle on a door that has never been opened. Behind it is either the universe or the end of the log. The tension breaks into a surreal, ethereal soundscape. It feels like being underwater or in a dream. The voice becomes slightly more distorted, as if reflecting off glass. Perhaps we are being too pessimistic. What if the silence is not about death or fear, but about control? This is the zoo hypothesis. It suggests that the Earth is not a lonely island, but a carefully managed exhibit. We are the animals in a cosmic sanctuary, and the great silence is simply the glass wall of our cage.
According to this theory, the galaxy is already teeming with a high-level galactic club, an alliance of civilizations so advanced they regard us the same way we regard a colony of ants on the side of a highway. Why would they talk to us? What could we possibly offer them? We are still burning dead plants for energy and fighting over imaginary lines in the dirt. To a Type 3 civilization that can harness the power of an entire galaxy, our advanced technology is nothing more than a child playing with blocks. They have agreed upon a policy of non-interference. They observe us from the Oort cloud, from the dark side of our planets, or through dimensions we cannot yet perceive. They are the silent observers, watching our wars, our breakthroughs, and our failures with an indifferent curiosity. This theory implies that the universe is actually very loud, but we have been muted. They have shielded our solar system from the galactic internet, waiting for us to meet a certain criteria before we are allowed to join the conversation. Maybe we need to reach a certain level of peace. Maybe we need to solve the riddle of gravity. Or maybe they're waiting for us to stop being a threat to ourselves. We are in a quarantine. Earth is a laboratory, and we are the experiment. But there is a darker version of the zoo. It's not a sanctuary, it's a farm, or worse, a reality show for an audience of trillions. They aren't waiting for us to grow up, they're just watching the chaos for entertainment. Every tragedy in our history, every moment of human suffering might have been recorded in high definition by a drone the size of a dust mote. The silence is the most sophisticated technology ever created. It is a perfect mask. You look at a dead planet through your telescopes, but it's actually a cloaked fortress. You look at a void in space, but it's a bustling hub of commerce and art. They are right there. They are in the room with you, but you are not yet allowed to see the world outside the glass. In the void logs, there are strange anomalies in your history. Objects that move too fast, lights that don't obey the laws of physics. Are these glitches in the simulation, or is the zookeeper occasionally stepping into the cage to check on the specimens? If the zoo is real, then we are not alone, but we are profoundly powerless. We are at the mercy of entities whose morality and goals are as far beyond ours as ours are beyond the virus. We are waiting for a graduation day that may never come. Or perhaps we are waiting for the day the experiment ends and the lab is cleaned for the next subject.